Welcome back to Blind Man Morris. Well, probably not Morris today. For a change, I'm going to say welcome back to Blind Man Austin, first and only time, because we've gone and bought ourselves another car, and it's an Austin, and it's an old Austin from 1938. It's an Austin 10 Cambridge, and couldn't resist it. It looked at us, well, it looked at Amber through the walls of the internet one late night, and we went and bought it. So here it is.
Are you ready?
Yeah, go for it. Do the reveal. So there is our 1938 Austin 10 Cambridge, and we've named him Eddie, EYR 918. I think the EYR stands for an old London plate, so it was sold by a dealer in London around 1938. And it's a lovely thing. Needs a bit of work, but it's got an MOT. Its lights all work, its brakes work, the engine runs beautifully.
Structurally sound.
It's absolutely solid underneath, but just a bit scruffy on the top, and the headlining's gone.
That's like you, John.
I'm a bit scruffy on the top, and my headlining's gone. The seats probably need reupholstering, but
Is that you or the car?
yeah, both of it. And so there we go, and it's got cross-ply tyres on it, Avon Tourists. So you're having a beautiful look at the front end. What a lovely grille that is. That's absolute classic pre-war British styling, long bonnet, as we say in the UK, a sit-up and beg style, big square cab, lots of room, hardly any boot, but we'll walk round, have a look, and we'll show you everything. So first off, let's open the side bonnet. There's two leather straps holding it down. As you can see, they're spring-loaded. Lift up, you can remove the whole bonnet, and in the summer, you can open these vents on the side here for engine cooling. I hope that's right. Apologies to any Austin 10 owners out there who know more than I do. And inside you'll notice some quite common things to a Morris in here.
You've got a dynamo, it's got a greasing plug there on it. You've got your control box, it's got an integral fuse box inside the control box. You've got a distributor down there. Obviously this is a side valve, so the spark plugs are on the top. You've got your oil filler cap there. You've got your coil there.
Windscreen wiper motor.
Windscreen wiper motor over there.
Which Lucas is that, I wonder?
I don't know, I don't
Anyway,
know
let's not look at that for now.
Yeah.
So that's the engine bay. So this is the side, it's missing its running boards. They must have just disintegrated. Just like the bottom of the doors are pretty rough, but we're going to do some preservation on those. We're not going to restore this car, we're going to do preservation. So we're going to try and keep everything we can is going to be kept on the car. Even if we cover things up, what the original is going to be left underneath, like the seat covers and the headlining. So here's your driver's door, and Amber will talk you through the dials.
Yeah, so big dial here. So you've got your amps there, your petrol gauge and your oil pressure gauge there. You've then got the ignition and also where you turn the lights on. The trafficators are controlled here. And then you've got the speedo over here with a clock. The clock doesn't work at the moment, but we're hoping to be able to do something about that. And you've also got a temperature gauge over here. And John will probably like to show you this bit, but I'm going to do it. You can wind the window open. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we've oiled that. There we go. It's got a sunroof.
Yeah, we're not opening that because I've managed to stop it wobbling. See,
It has got a sunroof.
So I've just fitted this border body draft excluder temporarily to stop this rattling around. So that's not a full fix. That's just to stop that rattling while we get everything else sorted out. It's one of those things. And of course, being pre-war, suicide doors on the back, which means it's really easy to get in and out. Look at that.
And it looks a bit scruffy because we've got stuff in it in the minute while we're just sorting it. So there's a mat in there and things. But anyway, look, all the mats look nice.
All the mats look nice.
We just put them in.
We have, yeah, just temporarily. Right, let's go around the boat. I think this is almost one of my favourite bits of the car. Is this boot. Really clever bit of engineering, but first I'll open it and show you what I mean.
It's very heavy.
It's incredibly heavy duty. So this suitcase would have come with the car, or came as an extra, so it fits exactly the boot of the car. But if you wanted to have extra luggage room, you drop this down, and you see these two big wind nuts here. I don't know if you can see those there.
Yeah.
You just tighten them off, and you'd put all your luggage here.
Yep.
And you can see the cargo strap holders on the side there, and
Yep.
bars there, and the number plate is hinged so it swings out. So when the boot's down, the number plate swings out, so the brake lights and tail lights still work. And when you swing the boot up, oh, it swings back down again. So that's a really ingenious bit of engineering there.
Lovely rear
Split screen,
screen.
which is somebody's attempted to stop the glass from shaking by pumping loads of black windscreen sealant in there, which is fine. It's what you do.
Yeah, so those are Avon tourists. They're old, so we're
So they've got to
replacing
go,
them.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
If they would have been new, they would have been fantastic. So you can't really put radial tyres on these. There is a close metric equivalent to the old Imperial tyre, but they do recommend you put a decent cross ply on these pre-war cars because it makes the driving more realistic to the original and makes their steering geometry more accurate. That's the correct terminology for it. So we are going to carry on and put decent cross plies on there, but unfortunately not Avon Taurus because I think they're 230 quid each.
They do some decent alternatives, so we'll put a decent alternative on.
Yeah, we've got to replace these windscreens.
The wipers, yeah, we've got the windscreen wipers there. Yeah.
So there we go. So we've lost the plot really and bought something really old.
But I tell you, I'll let you finish in a second. But the gap between Gas Monkey, who is to my right and covered over, and Moggy, who's over there in the background, and this car is quite big. But the gap between this car and Libby, who's behind us in the cover over there, 1954, is really small. Actually.
Oh, you mean in engineering?
Yeah,
technology?
it's incredibly similar.
It is, yeah.
So actually, if you manage to get to a 1954, looking after one of these is not going to be that different.
Actually, there's less greasing points on one of these.
Yeah, and the brakes are cable, aren't they? So rather than being hydraulic, so
the brakes are mechanical, not hydraulic.
Yeah.
But they are actually, we've tried them.
Yeah.
Driving around the farm here, around the yard and everything, and they are surprisingly good.
But if you can cope with a dynamo and a control box, it's got a dynamo and a control box.
It has.
So
yeah, and it's an 1125 engine with 25 bhp.
Yep.
I think it's got a DK4 distributor.
Yeah, that's it. So it's be points. If you can cope with points,
it's
no different.
It's 12 volt.
Yeah, it is.
So originally they would have had two 6-volt batteries
in series,
plumbed in series.
Yeah.
To make it a 12-volt system. But in this one we got two 12-volt batteries plumbed in parallel. So there's a lot more storage of power. Yeah. And actually, we've got to do a charging test on this car.
We've got to do that.
The light's not doing what it should do.
And it's got synchro mesh.
Oh, it has. Yeah, in fact, the differential and gearbox is very similar to an early 803 Series 2. So it's got first gear is straight cut gear, so no synchro mesh. You've got to be stationary to use it. Second, third, and into fourth is fine, and reverse is fine. Very similar differentials. A 5.35 diff on here, same as on Libby. So you jumped straight from Libby into here and didn't
fine.
You didn't notice much difference, did you?
No, there's no problem at all.
No.
Oh, the gears. Let me show you the handbrake.
Oh yeah. Umbrella stick, they call it.
Yeah, it's a trigger. Look, it's a trigger handbrake. There you go. So
there we go. That's our moment of madness. Fair bit of residual work to do. We've done all the lubrication and everything. Done all the checks. Got to adjust the brake lights, which I've just found out how to do that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we just love the front end of this car, don't we?
We just want to get out and drive it, really.
Yeah, we do. We're itching, but we're holding back. We're not going to just jump in and drive it. We're going to try and go through all the checks to make sure it's absolutely road safe before we take it out. We know it is. It's been driven. But we want to go through all the checks. We want to go through lights, electrics, charging. We're not going anywhere.
Fluids,
We're not going
lubrication.
anywhere until those wheels, tyres are done. It's not safe driving on 50-year-old tyres. Oops, sorry, door. So there we are. So let us know in the comments whether you think we need therapy or whether you think it's a good idea.
And welcome Eddie,
And welcome Eddie to the fold.
the older brother.
1938. So you're 88, aren't you? 88. Did you hear that? Beautiful sound, man. Oh, that's ASMR, that. See you next time.